Some board games give us a taste of life at its most brutal. Whether it's fighting on the front lines of World War II in Memoir 44, trying to tackle a global pandemic in Pandemic, or being ripped to shred by zombies in all the other games. But until now, no game had attempted to capture the horror that leads mankind to its darkest depths, trying to get a job. Funemployed is a party game where players compete to win job interviews. Each round, one player will take on the role of the interviewer, turning over a job card, say psychic, and every other player will then take it in turns to pitch for the job, using their unique hand of qualification cards. It's then up to the interviewer to decide who gave the best reasons, who had the best pitch, and that person wins the round. Hi. Thanks for coming in today. As you know, we're looking for a new psychic. Tell us what you got. I'm not just any old psychic. I'm the world's first thug life psychic. London is a cesspool of crime. And who dies the most in this city? Well, old people, but then criminals. And some of these criminals are still wanting to have influence over their gangs from the grave. That's what I'll be offering. But how will I gain their trust? Well, I'll be forming a drug habit. In fact, I've already started. And I'm going to be dressing the part. The only way I'm going to fit in is to wear a trench coat at all times. What is wrong with you? Why are you the best psychic for the job? And please say your answers out loud. The guys in HR, they can't do telepathy. I'll start with the bad news. I'm illiterate. On the positive side, I carry a hot dog with me at all times. I would have ketchup for that hot dog, but I accidentally bought massage oil because I couldn't read the label. But the reason I make a great psychic is because I have a time machine, and I can go forward in time, find out what happens, come back and pretend to predict it. You're the man for the job. Time machine, right? One of the great little things about Funemployed is the build your resume phase. After the job card has been revealed, everyone knows what they're going for, they get a chance to switch cards from their qualification hand with the 10 cards that are laid face up on the table. This all happens simultaneously, so you might have to get in there quick. But you get to weave a narrative with the cards that you're collecting. You're going to have to play all 4 of them in the interview. Creativity games can be hard to get right, but the reason that Funemployed shines where other creativity games perhaps don't is because it gets the balance between freedom and structure just right. If someone was to ask you to come up with a joke on the spot, you might struggle to do it and it might not be very good. But Funemployed gives you this framework that is like making your friends laugh just as quickly, but helping you along the way. That's the great thing about Funemployed, is that it acts like the setup to a joke, with the player providing the punchline. So the idea of using a lisp as a reason to get a job as a proctologist, that's a funny idea in itself, but it's your execution of that idea that brings the joke home. I find it lightens the mood when I tell my patients they have prostate cancer. My overabundant saliva helps lubricate procedures. God, I wish I had a lisp. And crucially, it's still you making your friends laugh. It's not the cards doing the work for you like happens in Cards Against Humanity. And that's why Funemployed will work for almost any group. Because the style of humour is created by the group, not by the game. And so it's not a game forcing a sense of humour on you. I have only one small niggle with this game, and that's that some of the qualification cards are funny in their own right. And I know that doesn't sound like a bad thing, but I think Funemployed's at its best when people are scraping by with kind of really bad qualifications. And if someone plays the Holy Grail, not only is it kind of super powerful, but it's also incredibly funny, and it kind of takes the control and the creativity away from that player. And I think there is the potential for those cards to suffer from the Cards Against Humanity flaw, which is that a punchline is never as good the next time you hear it. But also, it lends itself to people winning by luck. You know, if a judge picks the winner based on who had the funniest card, then the person with the Holy Grail is going to win, and they didn't do anything to deserve that win. That's not how this game should work. It's not about having the strongest card. In a way, it's about having the weakest cards, but then using them in the most creative way. If you're feeling brave, there's a harder variant in the rules called running late, where you don't get to see your qualification cards before you go into the interview. So you're turning them over one at a time, and on the fly having to explain why this card is perfect for you to get the job. Okay, well, I think I'd be a great professional athlete because I used to be a calendar model, and so I'm obviously in perfect physical fitness. I am incredibly greedy, so I will always strive to push in front of other people, trip them up. I'm desperate for gold. I always have been. At the same time, I'm a hot mess. And so what that means for you is that I will have bouts of depression. I'm going to drink very heavily, but I will never let it affect my on-field performance. And what I do have is a cavernous pit of emotion. So what happens there is people will just throw praise at me and I'll never be happy. I think that's perfect as an athlete because I'm always striving for more. If you want to take it a step further, I've come up with a variant where the interviewer gets to look at their cards throughout the interview and then play one in front of the interviewee, putting them in a spot so that the person then has to explain why this is a reason they should get the job. Perhaps you can explain something for me. When I googled you, I found a picture of you wearing fishnet stockings. Oh, you saw that photo? Yeah, that was me just, I was working for a website at the time and Funemployed makes another death move in the form of the My Job card. This card gets shuffled into the deck and when you hit it, everyone is now suddenly interviewing for the job of the interviewer. So, say for example that player is a teacher, everyone is then interviewing to be a teacher. The only problem with it is it does require you to know what your friends do for a job. I'm perfect for your job because I'm a technology expert and you do something with computers, I think? The nature of the game means that Funemployed won't work for everyone. If you've got any friends that are particularly shy or they don't like to talk in front of groups of people, then they might not go for this game. But that's a problem with all persuasion games, not just with Funemployed. Apart from that, I think it's going to work for almost any group because the style of humour that the game creates is coming from your group. So as long as you find your friends funny, you'll find the game funny. This game is from first-time designer Anthony Conter and first-time publisher I Am All Games. But I recommend that unlike most employers out there, you do give a chance to someone with no experience in this case. The artwork is great, the card quality is great, and there are so many cards in this game that the replayability is insane. There's over 300 qualification cards, 72 job cards, and if you want more, you can always get the Seasonal Help expansion pack, which is basically a holiday Christmas themed cards, qualifications and jobs. I highly recommend Funemployed. I think it has the potential to become a quintessential party game, certainly a best-in-class persuasion game. It works well from 4 players upwards, it's super quick to learn. If you're in the market for a party game, it doesn't get much better than this.